You know, because keep in mind, I'm living the trad life while Nick is living the mad life. Let's talk about small dick Fuentes. Everybody loves the guy. Famous for his hilarious comedic bits about how the Holocaust was fake. Famous for his incredibly based and red pill positions like all brown people bad because they're going to steal Nick Fuentes' anime white crush. Like, literally, the dude is a fucking nightmare. He's a train wreck, okay? And he also hates me. So sometimes you can tell if you're doing things right based solely on who your enemies are. Who are the people that oppose what you're doing the most? Sometimes that can tell you, hey, I think I'm doing something right. So with the alt-right, incel freak, Nick Fuentes, hating on me constantly, I know I'm doing something right. This guy is akin to a Nazi. He talks all the time about the Jewish question, about Jews disproportionately controlling banks and whatnot. He's a huge piece of shit. So if he hates me, well, that probably means I'm doing something right. So, recently he went on this massive spurg out on Telegram. The dude just fucking melted down. Thank you very much for the 100 cheers. I appreciate it. The dude melted down. First, he was like reeing about Vosh, and then he went on to start reeing about me. Hunter Avallone would be so humiliated in a I should probably explain why I don't want to debate him first. Who cares? Hunter Avallone would be so humiliated and emasculated by me in a debate that he would question his worth as a human male, which I'm sure he does often, such as when he looks at his wife's baby mama's ugly face. So you can definitely understand how this guy's feeling just from the first message. You know, not trying to be an armchair psychologist here, but I'm wondering if, like, did his mommy yell at him? Did his mommy say, hey, Nick, listen, you have to graduate high school, and I'm sorry, you can no longer breastfeed, okay? You can't. It's getting inappropriate. You're constantly sucking my tits. Enough is enough, Nick. Did you get, like, really, really mad and just go on your little Spurg fest down in your fucking Telegram, the last platform you have left? Hunter's wife is ugly. This was, by the way, when I was fucking asleep. So here I am, sleeping easy, dreaming of gumdrops and rainbows, while this dude's late at night about my wife. And then he says, Hunter's wife would be watching, and though she will never admit it, would be embarrassed by him, and wishing he was as assertive and intelligent as I am, because I am more successful and smarter than he is, and also, I have a stronger brow ridge and jawline. Brow ridge? Does he mean his forehead's... I mean, he definitely looks more like a Lego figure than I do. So there's some credit maybe there. I'm going to go ahead and guess. Again, not a psychologist or anything, but I'm going to go ahead and guess he probably typed this one out because this was a little while later. So he probably typed it over here, started jerking off, and then was thinking about like, oh, Hunter's ugly wife would just love me. Ugh, but she's ugly. Ugh. Because that's pretty much all I'm seeing here. And then also, usually if you have to constantly be like, I'm more intelligent than this person. This person's wife is ugly. I'm better than this person in every way. You start to sound like you're very insecure, actually. Like you start to sound the opposite of what you're trying to convey here. So, obviously, upon reading this, I'll give my initial reaction. My child woke me up in the middle of the night, you know, because keep in mind, I'm living the trad life while Nick is living the mad life. But my child woke me up and I saw this, and upon first reading this middle message here, my heart skipped a beat. I got a little scared. I got a little insecure. I rolled over and shook my wife awake. And she said, what, Hunter? I was trying to fucking sleep. And I said, are you going to leave me for this guy who's a total incel, has never been in a relationship, and literally doesn't think you should have the right to vote? And then she said, no, go back to sleep. Whew. Massive sigh of relief there. Massive weight off my fucking chest. And then a little bit more time goes by. Maybe he took a break to like text his cat boy for some more bussy. And then he says, Hunter is a good example of what my life would look like if I was way dumber. Kid out of wedlock, stale SJW content. Wait, what? I don't do that shit anymore. What does he mean? Atheist, cheap leather jacket YouTuber driving a minivan. Now we're going to get to the minivan thing in a second because Nick Fuentes for now 2 fucking years has been obsessed with me and my goddamn minivan. Like I didn't know a minivan could anger someone so much. We'll get to that in a minute though. I don't want to get ahead of myself. First, okay, so you say if you were way dumber, your life would look like mine. Buddy, you're banned off of every fucking platform. You have barely any connections left. You're hated by virtually the entire world because everyone knows you for being that neo-Nazi scumfuck. Everyone knows you for talking about the Jewish control. Everyone knows you for talking about how, well, I don't know if there were 6 million cookies that could fit in the oven. LOL, I'm just joking. Everyone knows you as that. You have nothing left, my friend. Like, you're an example of someone who's absolutely pathetically stupid. Like, to the point of being just, you have hardly any brain left. You're running on a single brain cell. Like, at least Richard Spencer is smart enough to know, hey, yeah, I'm a huge Nazi and I believe in the JQ, but I'm not going to talk about that super heavily on my main channel and social medias. If anything, dude, the way your life is right now is an example of sheer stupidity and arguably worse, pure incompetence. Second of all, kid out of wedlock. I'm married now and I have 2 children. And I'm married to the woman who had my children. This is literally so... He's gatekeeping marriage, by the way. These tradcons who care so much about having a family and getting married, they're just gatekeeping cucks. So, kid out of wedlock, I guess you can put it that way. I mean, that is technically correct, but you're intentionally doing it that way to make it sound like I have some estranged kid that I'm paying all this child support to. Fuck off. Like, I'm married and live with my children and my wife now. Like, things didn't happen in the greatest order, sure. I would agree with that. But again, we're living out the supposed values that you claim to care about. And yet now, that's just an insult. It shows that this dude really has virtually no principles also. Stale SJW content, go look at my channel. You can literally just look at it to see that that's incorrect. Atheist, yeah, that actually proves you're smart, not dumb, buddy boy. I don't need like a book of fables. I don't need to scroll through Aesop's fables to remind me that fucking gay people are scary. Okay? You can, an atheist is usually a better indicator that you're smart or have at least thought about things. Cheap leather jacket, I will give him that. My leather jacket is old and it's also getting ripped and I've been meaning to get a new one. Thank you, Nick, for letting me know. I'll go ahead and use the ad revenue I make from clowning on your dipshittery to go buy a new one. Thanks, buddy. YouTuber, don't know why that's in quotes. I am literally, by definition, a YouTuber. It is still my job, but Nick Fuentes, if I remember correctly, you're the guy who is banned off of YouTube completely. You're the guy that has literally no platform left outside of Telegram and Cozy TV, and then maybe Gab. So I don't know why that's in quotes. And then driving a minivan. Now let's get to the minivan, because I'm excited about this. First and foremost, though, thank you to the second hype train. Holy shit. We have new emotes. So this is great, man. Nick Fuentes' little mental breakdown is really helping me out here. Thank you, guys. Let's keep this going. So then driving a minivan. Again, first and foremost, a minivan is usually an indicator that you have a family, which I do, and I have a minivan for that very purpose. I use it every day almost to drive my kids to daycare. So what do you mean? Again, seems like you don't really care about the traditional values very much, buddy. But that's okay, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. The iceberg? Because Nick Fuentes is obsessed with my minivan. Like, maybe it's because he feels insecure because he's mini in certain other areas or something, but, like, the dude is fucking obsessed with it. And it all started because of this post now from, this was 2020, right? And all the comments are negative, too, just because, you know, I don't know why buying a minivan triggers everyone. But, yeah, I said, while the traditional alt-right have been fuming over my very existence, I just bought a new luxury Chrysler minivan for my family, living the trad life while they live the mad life. One of my favorite slogans, as you can see. 74 weeks ago. Okay. All the comments are like, you're a loser. It's like, okay, guess you don't really care that much about trad values. You're only a trad con when you can shit on gay people with that card, right? Is that it? So here I am being a massive Chad, and this led to Nick Fuentes ranting for like 5 goddamn minutes.
Polish American gripe versus...
Hold on. About how triggered he was that I got a minivan. Skinny fat guy copes. That's the thumbnail too. I appreciate that one. Again, this video by definition is a cope, because all I did is post an Instagram picture, and now your God, Lord, and Savior of the Aryan race is rambling about it, crying.
Polish American gripe versus bra. Hunter Avalon
Thank you
bought
for the
himself
cheers.
and his family a luxury Chrysler minivan. That really showed us incels who's the boss. JT,
True.
What if we get the Cybertruck right now? This is an arms war of cars. Yeah, I saw that post. Somebody sent it to me in a group chat. And he said, in the caption it says, just got a luxury Chrysler minivan. And it's like, that is an economy. That is an economy minivan. You know, that would be like getting...
Oh, shit.
Like
I'm wrecked. I just got wrecked, guys. He called me out. It's an economy. What do I have? It's a Chrysler Town and Country. I think he's probably right, technically. But one, what a cheap attempt at an own. Two, I'm going to just keep calling it a luxury minivan just because it pisses him off. Three, it is very luxurious. Okay? It's got some leather seats, surround sound, super nice TV that comes down, touchscreen, navigation system, built-in voice stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty luxurious. Again, this is a testament to how he doesn't care about the fact that I'm living out traditional values because he doesn't have principles. So if he wants to play that bad faith and show and reveal himself to having no principles at all, then I feel that I can play a little bit bad faith too. Yeah, dude, it's a luxury minivan, okay? Fuck off. And plus, where are you going to find it? How, you're going to really trust the elite car dealerships? Do you know who disproportionately owns car dealerships?
You know, that would be like getting like a Honda Civic and being like, just got a luxury sedan. And anyway, he's always talking about the alt-right. He's like, oh, well, the alt-right. He's very, you know, obsessively paranoid about the alt-right and defensive about the alt-right. But he's flexing his family. And I'm thinking, like, you had both of your kids out of wedlock, you know.
So what? I still have a family. You've never even been in a relationship, Booger Nick. It doesn't matter if I had kids before I was married. I had kids and then married the woman who I had kids with. This is gatekeeping marriage, by the way. Just remember that.
You know, you had one kid out of wedlock. And you didn't even stick with the kid's mother.
What?
Right? He had his first daughter out of wedlock, and it was an accident, and he broke up with his girlfriend, right? I don't even know if they were dating. I think he just knocked her up.
We lived together, Nick. God, you're stupid. But it's okay, because this is why it's so fucking cringy when people are, like, digging up my personal life, plus shit that I've long addressed. Like, I've so admitted that breaking up was a mistake, but, like, it worked out. We got back together. Does anybody obsess over someone else's breakup to this extent? Are you just mad that you didn't hit my wife up when she was single for a little bit? Is that it? Oh, that's right. I forgot. She's super ugly. That's why you're thinking about her constantly.
If they were dating, I think he just knocked her up. And then he said, like,
he's such a fucking creep too. But no, we were yes, we were dating, buddy. We lived together.
Like, no, we're not getting.
He's had small things with e-girls. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe every now and then Nick Fuentes is jerked off on Omegle with some high school chicks watching. Yeah, I don't count that as a very traditional relationship. Meanwhile, I'm living the trad life, and you're living the D-gen life, Nick. Ooh!
And then he had another kid out of wedlock. That's the best. It's like, you know.
No, we were back together, engaged. And then we had a second kid, and we were okay with it because we decided we were okay with having a second kid because we felt like Rose was such a blessing. This just shows that this dude doesn't understand how, like, a complicated dynamic can work and how a relationship can be complicated and go through rough patches and then actually work out, even if things don't go in the perfect fairy tale order of things that you would prefer, Nick. But it's actually really funny because he's a fascist, so he is actually obsessed to a large degree with the idea of order. So because things went out of order for him, his brain is just like breaking constantly. He's just melting down. It's really, really funny. And it shows that he hasn't been in a relationship before too, because he doesn't understand that, like, you can have a rough patch and then amend those differences and then be engaged and then talk about, like, maybe we'd be okay with having another kid sometime. Maybe we're okay with, like, kind of having a surprise second kid. We literally talked about this. That is pretty traditional for the most part, Nick. Like, this is just a giant ad hom and him gatekeeping the fact that we did things slightly out of order, even though things all worked out in the end. I'm sorry, Nick. I know you're obsessed with this, like, fantastical, whimsical past, since you always think America was once great when brown people weren't around and women knew their place. You want my life to operate like some perfectly written Dr. Seuss order timeline story. The real world isn't like that, dude. And it just shows that you're sheltered.
You know, you have one kid out of wedlock, and that's not good, but the right thing to do is then to get married, and then you raise the kid, right? And then the kid has the father.
Oh!
Mother, you fucked up.
Cool, so you recognize that I did the right thing. Wow, Nick. Man, thank you very much for the compliment. Damn, I appreciate that. I didn't expect that one, but thank you.
But then it's your responsibility. But that's the best. He knocks her up once. She has the kid. He says, I'm going to stay involved in her life. They're not even together. They're not married. They're not dating. They're not even together.
He doesn't know anything.
He knocks her up again.
He actually doesn't know anything. When Carissa was pregnant with William, we lived together and were engaged. These ad homs, dude. It shows that he has nothing left. He literally sounds like a crying little sheep in the corner. He's the little bullied kid. He's the bullied kid on the playground who got one too many wedgies, and instead of just coping with it another way, he decided to take it out by just trying to act like the alpha Chad while simultaneously being mega transparent about his insecurities.
And then they say, okay, well, now we're going to get married. And then he goes around flexing that like, oh, no, look, those incels on the alt-right, they don't have families. I have a family.
Because you don't know what happened.
We really want to get technical. James Alsop does the same thing. James Alsop, same exact.
Uh-oh. Do we have a little bit of alt-right infighting? Oh, shit. The war of the bit shoots. Oh, God, what's going to happen next?
Thing. Hate to say it, but, I always hear that whenever people are trying to flex on groypers, who are mostly like teenagers and young 20-somethings, whenever people, invariably.
So what?
When people flex on the
Wait. If you're a teenager or young 20-something preaching white nationalist neo-Nazi beliefs, who cares? Why are you bringing that up? What? Who? Why does that? Probably because he keeps a really close profile on the followers, and the like 5 girls that follow him. He probably is like, all right, what's their ages? Since he thinks that the age of consent is nothing but a feminist tradition and should be done away with, because actually getting married to young girls. Older men with younger girls, that's actually traditional, guys. And because they did it back in the olden days when they also put leeches on people to suck out the blood because they thought that got rid of diseases, well, that somehow means it's good now. Just to, just want to make sure I throw that in. It's funny because he's throwing personal attacks at me, which is fine. I don't give a fuck. He literally got everything wrong also, but he's throwing personal attacks at me, whereas I'm able to actually attack his beliefs.
Wipers and say, well, you're all about trad, but look at me and my family. Nearly every time it's like kid out of wedlock, shotgun marriage. And
that's not a shotgun.
It's the right.
That wouldn't be a shotgun marriage, even, would it? I don't even think
thing
that's
to do to get married. But let's not pretend like, oh, you've got
Michael Alberto. How long is your video? Please tell me.
This wholesome family, like you planned it out. That's what you wanted. You were irresponsible. You're a fuck up. And then you ultimately ended up not being a deadbeat. You did the right thing. I don't know if that makes that, like, praiseworthy. I don't know if that makes it like, oh, that's a big flex, right? Wow, 2 kids out of wedlock, shotgun marriage, and then you bought an economy model minivan. Well, groypers stay jealous.
Have you ever seen someone just cope, seethe, and dilate for 3 minutes straight? About nothing but me purchasing a minivan for my family. Keep in mind, when I purchased that, I already had Will, I already had Rose. Me and my wife had just bought a house together. We were already married. Like, you have nothing, Nick. You're grasping at straws and then making up lies about my personal life in order to just grasp at whatever insult you possibly can.
That is a pretty enviable situation. Imagine being I can never be a baller like that. I can never just knock up some average-looking woman.
Well, aside the insult of my wife, which is, again, hysterical, you keep bringing up her appearance when you're unable to even attract a single woman, nonetheless, you would be lucky to get head from a crackhead who is desperate for $10 on the corner of downtown Baltimore. Okay, so you're in no position to talk, first of all. Second of all,
I can never be a baller like that. I can never just knock up.
Oh yeah, I can never just knock up. Yeah, I know you can't, Nick, because you're a fucking incel. Women hate you. You're a disgusting cretin that thinks they shouldn't vote. You literally think that women should be reduced to a baby-making machine, barefoot and pregnant, non-stop. She's the submissive little waifu that does whatever the husband says. And that's it. That's what you want, Nick. And you don't want her to have the right to vote. You've said this too. We just went over it on the Sydney Watson thing. Like, yeah, I know you could never knock up a woman, Nick. You're lucky to get a fucking Omegle date. You're lucky to get another Catboy bussy. Fuck out of here. This cock, dude. Seething about my minivan. I'm going to just keep calling it a luxury. I don't know if it technically is or not, but I don't care. Because I'm just going to keep calling it luxury because it seems to make him really mad. I'm just saying a lot of this is unnecessary. True, yeah, maybe you should hit up your buddy Nick Fuentes and tell him to stop.
Some average-looking woman and then, and then give her some shitty engagement ring and then buy probably like some used minivan. Yeah, that is definitely not in the cards for me. I don't know how he done.
I know. You getting engaged, having a family, that's not anywhere in the near future for you, Nick. You're going to be too busy living in your mom's basement, sucking her titty.
I'm just sitting around seething and fuming. I could never just knock up some local floozy at the bar and...
Wow, again shows his lack of knowledge. Aside the fact that he's insulting my wife, which is pretty petty. Floozy at the bar? Me and my wife met at church, Nick. This is also like a massive self-own. In his coping and seething, he's managed to self-own by just straight up being like, yeah, I don't ever see myself meeting a girl who's even average looking, really, and I'm not ever going to knock her up. I'm probably never even going to be able to get a used minivan. Yeah, I don't see that in my future. Soy Boy Hunter wrecked! Hunter, why aren't you as funny as Nick? Because you're immature and you think that humor equals just saying something that's super edgy so that you can be desensitized to these actually real-world harmful ideas.
Love to see it. Rectum says, Groypers could be here, he thought. I've never been in this neighborhood before. There could be Groypers anywhere. The cool wind fell good against his chest. Sweet dreams are made of these. Reverberated his entire car. With the car, you can go anywhere you want. Is that supposed to be Hunter Avalon?
I also have a 2016 Mazda we just recently got. So that's not the only thing.
I'm not sure what you mean. Donald Trump says, sorry for reaching last night on the Civil War remote.
I think that was it. So pretty much 4 minutes of him hardcore seething about the fact that I got a minivan. I don't know if it's technically a luxury, but I looked this up and it says Chrysler Crown & Country, a luxury car, from its debut in 1989 as a 1990 model year vehicle, the Chrysler Town & Country set the standard for luxury minivans. So it retired in 2016. So maybe he could say, technically it's not actually a luxury at this point. It just was up until 2016 when I still had a YouTube channel. Well, yeah, Nick Fuentes managed to absolutely own me by demonstrating how insecure he is, demonstrating I'm apparently living rent-free in his head, and by admitting that he never sees a future in which he's going to meet a woman or get a van, or have a family, or really live any of his traditional values. But then again, I wouldn't expect this guy, this unprincipled fuckwit, to live out any of his values at the end of the day. So this comes to the final question. Of course, people are going to wonder, Hunter, debate Nick, debate Nick. Chad face? No. And this is why. First, he reached out to me way back when I was still conservative and said that he wanted to debate. And I remember at the time I was kind of confused because I wasn't really aware of the far right and then the center right, and I wasn't really as aware of the fight that was brewing between those types of people. So I was kind of confused. So I was like, maybe. And that just started the cycle from the Hunter Avalon agreed to debate. Hunter Avalon now pulled out of the debate. Because I was like, I don't know what this guy wants to debate. Then someone else hit me up and was like, yo, this dude's just a clout chaser. All he does is try to get on other people's platform to get attention. This is when I was still a pretty big right-wing figure too. So I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do it then. Forget it. Time goes by. Time goes by. Time goes by. I believe I asked him if he'd be interested in debating me and someone else, and he could bring someone else on also. So it'd be a 2v2. And they didn't want to do it because all the other Nazis were too scared to associate with each other. And now it's come to the point where he throws a lot of insults, but he does have decent rhetoric and he is well versed in misinformation. So to have this guy on would require a lot of preparation that I'm not sure I want to put in that level of effort to this fucking loser. He's at this point pretty irrelevant. He has no major platform. He's no longer on YouTube. He's no longer on Twitch. He's not on Twitter. He's not on Instagram. I don't even know if I could debate him on my Twitch channel without risking getting banned myself. So I'm not sure about that, first of all. Second of all, at this point, it would literally just be back to me giving my platform to the dude. Why? Why waste my time? Just he's well-versed in misinformation, but he repeats the exact same brain-dead dipshit talking points that every single virgin groiper fuck spiels on about. He's just better spoken than they are, and that's it. The ideas are all the same. I can debate any average groiper and get the same general understanding of Nick Fuentes' beliefs, and I can skip the overwhelming amount of preparation I'd have to do because I know he would spew some bullshit stat or something at me that I'd have to look up on the fly or some shit. Besides that, it would just be giving a free platform to the dude. Why? Why waste my time? No, I'm not going to debate Nick Fuentes Cope, Seeth, Dilate, Nick Fuentes. You can die out on BitChute, Cozy TV, and I don't know, are you on Getter yet? See how long you last on there. Update really quick. He's banned from Getter. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Go figure, though, because not even Getter wants the neo-Nazi schizoid fuck. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.